brothers.
Boy, I come here to get busy, and it won't be no different from all the previous killers. I don't miss with this rap tighter than a Nike shoebox with socks is a Christmas gift. Can't swap a verse with me, I'm a saint till I ain't. Then somehow you shank with a fleur-de-lis. I don't need an army to arm me in me unless it's plenty. Don't care who do this or did it, I'm still gonna do my did it, coming with it. My people love me cause that's what I give them. Yeah, I bump heads with them, but a bust yours for playing with them. I cut the line to get in front of who you thought was next. I'm usually humble about this, but this ain't the time for that. So as long as these rappers know it ain't safe trying to try me, then hey, les éléments en brûlés. You must not know I get out. I don't know what you come to do, but I come to do my thing. I don't know what you come to do, but I come to do my thing. Stop playing with me.
All right, y'all. Welcome to Hanging with July World. We got a couple of special guests on the podcast. We got my dog Chris Martin representing the Saints. We got Nelson Reed representing the Eagles.
Oh, let's go.
Lemonade Eagles.
Of course, we got my dog Kayla Red holding it down for the Packers. And Will, he's going to be in and out, but he's going to come and voice his opinion on some topics. So I'm going to go ahead and let everybody introduce yourself. I'm going to start with you, Reezy.
Yeah, y'all know who it is, man. Nelson, a.k.a. Reezy in the building, baby. We trying to have a good podcast. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. And feels good to be back, baby. Let's talk some sports, man.
All right, Red.
It's your boy Caleb Red. You know, the number one Packer fan, the number one Saint hater, number one troll. Carlos, you are not the troll guy. That is me. I'm here. Finally, let's go on and do this thing, man.
All right, Chris.
What's that? Chris, no introduction needed. The great one that's spoken, you hear me? Number one Packers hater now, all of a sudden. Appreciate for having me back on. Let's do it.
All right, for sure. And my boy Will, like I said.
Is he on video?
Who, Will?
Chris, I don't see no video.
Hey, man, yeah,
you know.
Okay. It might be
video. Y'all don't see no video?
It might be my computer. It's just so audio only.
Yeah, I don't see video for Chris either.
Y'all don't?
Nope.
I see myself. I see y'all.
I told you, bro, you got to run that Ethernet cable to McDonald's,
man. Yeah, you might want to check the settings. Do you have the little video thing clicked? You see how?
Yeah, I got all that click. I do the same thing for class. Oh, you see me?
Yeah, I see Chris.
Oh, well, that's McDonald's Wi-Fi. That ain't me.
What is all that matter?
That's that Philadelphia Eagles Wi-Fi. That eliminated Wi-Fi. That's what it is.
As long as you can see him, bro, that's all that matters. You the one recording, so you know what I'm saying?
Cool. As long as the show.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna start off with these All-Pro teams. We're gonna start with the All-Pro first team. I'm gonna start off with you, Kayla. Anybody on the first team you think don't belong there? And who you think they should be replaced with?
Man, honestly, bro, I have a lot of issues with the linebacker court. I mean, like, no disrespect to them boys, because like Wagner, Leonard, like they both had a solid year, but like Fred Warner belongs there. Okay, like there is no dispute about that. However, Roquan Smith, like he was definitely snubbed first team list. It's just like, man, it's just very, very disrespectful. Cornerback wise, Jalen Ramsey, I don't see him there either. Reason being, I mean, like his cornerback grade was like what, like a 72.6 or something like that, whatever. Jair Alexander has been the best cornerback the entire year. He has been undisputed, covering everybody, locking down people. He finished out the season with a 90.6% grade. That is tops of all corners. He only had one pick, but I mean, like that, like stuff like that really don't matter. Reason being, because like he does a lot more things that's like off the stat sheet, stuff like that. Not too many people targeted him. I mean, like his his longest catch allowed was like 32 yards. Everything else was like 10 yards or shorter. So like he is the definition of a lockdown corner, secure tackler, all that stuff.
Basically, you're saying that you want Jalen Ramsey not on the first team, and then Xavier.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so you replace Ramsey
because like Xavier and Howard
right now.
Yeah. Because like Xavier and Howard, he finished second, and like Xavier's and like Jair's stats are like they both like mirrored each other. Xavier he was targeted about like 115 times, but like he only gave up about like 50 something catches. Like man,
and he had like 10 interceptions.
Yeah. That bro, man, that's some crazy numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I mean, like Jair could have been the first team. J.C. Jackson, like he also had a great season. Also, Jalen Ramsey, he had a solid year, but like folks are scared of Jalen Ramsey, so it's kind of pretty much.
What did you guys think about on the quarterbacks? It was real interesting because it looks like first team was Rodgers, right? Mm-hmm. But second team they did a tie between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Did anybody feel any type of way with that one? Because I know a lot of people kind of doubted Josh Allen.
I'm gonna speak on that one.
I don't like ties. I feel like ties are participation trophies. You feel what I'm saying? Make a decision. Make a decision. Give it to somebody and move around. Me personally, I think Rodgers deserved the first team position, but then me personally, bro, I would have gave the second one to Josh Allen. Right. And that's not a knock on Mahomes, but you got to realize Josh Allen doing it without a run game. So when they get in the red zone, he punching in those touchdowns. Josh Allen, he get out there and use his feet. He's very mobile. I think Mahomes is the better player, but I would have to say I believe Allen had the better year. And I'm not even talking about numbers. You know what I mean? And then if I can jump back, because I know you got to go. Kenny. But if I could jump back to what Caleb said, I agree. I think Jair should have replaced Ramsey on the first team with the corners. I disagree with you with Roquan Smith though. Nah, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Roquan. I don't think Roquan a top 3 linebacker in the league right now though. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me. That's just from me. Looking at what I can see. When I look at guys like the Darius Leonards of the world, the OG Bobby Wagners, the Fred Warners. You could also throw guys like either one of those guys from Tampa. You know what I mean? In the mix. You got the DeMario Davis. I think all of those guys bring a better impact than Roquan. And that ain't saying Roquan sad though. You know what I'm saying? But I think these guys do a little bit more, man. Like as far as in coverage, but also the ability to rush the passer as well from the linebacker position, and also play the run at a high level.
Yeah, I respect.
I want to shout out Devin White. I know Dennis in the group. Being a Bucks fan, he was really hype on him. You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was a lot of noise. Things of that nature. But he helped me win a fantasy championship. Well, I lost in the championship, but he helped take me to the championship. I'm in a league where it has like those individual defensive players. And I picked up let me just pick up Devin White just to see. Man, this dude was putting up like 10, 20 points every week. So as far as a motor, I would say I see a similarity between those Buccaneer linebackers as I do with Darius Leonard. As far as just like a ridiculous motor, like a heart of a defense. So I definitely want to say, him making second team, I think I would actually agree with that with Devin White.
Okay. Chris, I wanna get to you for this next topic I'm about to do. Well, same topic, but scenario. So wide receivers, we got Devontae Adams, we got Stephon Diggs, and we got Tyreek Hill. Now, usually they only put 2 wide receivers, but they did the same thing like they did with Patrick Mahomes. They made it a tie just to put a Kansas City Chief on there.
Right.
But and I want to hear from you,
Was he not
Chris.
a flex? Was he not a flex?
This what I think that they should have did. They should have put the flex position back on there. They should have put Alvin Kamara on the first team as a flex player, and they should have left. Hard to say, but they should have left Tyreek Hill off the first team. What's your thoughts about that, Chris?
Chris, did we lose you, man? You there?
I don't know.
I see his logo. It looks like. Who else?
Will, you still on, Will?
Yeah. So
what you think about what I just said?
Tyreek Hill was. I assumed Tyreek Hill was the flex. That's why I assumed they had 3 wide receivers instead of normally when they do that flex as a running back or something like that. I just assumed Tyreek Hill was the flex.
Nah, they put him as a wide receiver. That's why I said they should have left him off the first team, and they should put Alvin Kamara as the flex on the first team, because I looked at Alvin Kamara, man. He had a hell of a year, and that flex All Pro first team, I think he deserved to be on that All Pro first team.
I'm gonna say this. When I look at the All Pro teams from the past to this year, it's the same amount of slots in regards to them adding the extra receiver and not adding the flex. So that's why I took Tyreek Hill as being the flex, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Tyreek getting it over Kamara. I have no problem with that. I think when you break down the impact both of them have for the team, I do believe it's splitting hairs. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say is, this year in particular, Alvin Kamara was more focused on than Tyreek Hill with defenses, because Kelsey takes so much attention to that defense to where it opens up a lot for Tyreek Hill. You know what I mean? And Alvin Kamara was the unquestioned #1 option on offense for the Saints all year. So I'm not opposed to Tyreek Hill being there, but I do think Kamara, I don't think he got snubbed, but it would have been cool to have him on there.
I'll say one thing that makes the argument pro Tyreek Hill. Well, actually, it kind of the point that you made, Wilk, is really good, because when I'm looking at the overall yards, Stephon Diggs led the league with 1,535, and then right behind him was Travis Kelce with 1,416 yards. So that builds to your case as far as, man, defense has got to worry about Kelce. You see what I'm saying? And that helps Tyreek. But then when you go to look at touchdowns, you got Diggs with 8 touchdowns. You got Tyreek Hill with 15. You know what I'm saying? So it's still, an argument to say what's more impactful. Someone who's eating up all this yardage, everything like that, because I think Tyreek Hill was around right under 1,300 yards. He was at 1,276. But then you look at the average yard per catch, Tyreek Hill is, again, ahead, 14 yards, 14.7, opposed to Stephon Diggs at 12.1. That's almost 4 extra yards, because 4.7. That's almost 4 extra yards per catch. So we can talk about Diggs, and he really has like an A-B type of route running precision. But Tyreek Hill got some explosiveness that really can't be explained or messed with, when it comes to it. So you could go really both ways on that Tyreek Hill argument if you favor touchdowns and you favor yardage per catch.
What you think, Caleb?
Well, I mean, I really don't have like no type of dispute about that, because I mean, like, each person, they did their own thing, especially because like receiving yards and everything. All 3 guys pretty much put up all the same things. I mean, like, the most like all balanced guy to not really have like as many like drops and all that stuff like that was Adams.
Yeah.
Now then, like, outside of that, to have them both like tied like that, I mean, I don't really have, don't really have a problem with it, because like last year, they had Derrick Henry and CMC as the first team running back, and then he had Derrick Henry as the flex or something else like that.
Oh, I think Derrick Henry was on the second team last year, if I'm not mistaken.
He was on both.
He was on both.
Then, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
But then like CMC, CMC or Derrick Henry, one of them had the flex title also. So like that there took away from like a lot of people. So like these folks here like voting on like stuff like that. Like I call BS because it's politics, it's popularity, it's like all kinds of things. Like for instance,
hold on, you right about one thing. On the first team last year, they had Christian McCaffrey as the flex and the running back. Right. And on the second team, they had Derrick Henry as the flex and the running back. Like right. That's kind of weird.
Like man, stuff like that, it really does discredit like a lot of people's stats and stuff like that. So it's kind of like pretty much. Now like there was one more person that was snubbed from the first team. I mean, like y'all may not feel the same way in a sense, but Jesse Bates for the Cincinnati Bengals, the safety. He's been one of the top safeties and like the most like like the level-headed. He didn't really have like no type of drops off of his stats and playing and stuff like that. He's been the most consistent playing safety throughout the whole year. Tyrann Mathieu and like Buda Baker and Minka, like they all are like very well deserving of it. But I feel like at like that point, they also gave Buda Baker the nod versus Jesse Bates because it's simply the team that like Jesse Bates played for, and that's not right.
Well, Buda ain't make the playoffs either, so
right.
Like, them boys are on the couch too.
Exactly.
So
do you think that it's a product of like this is indicative or emblematic of popularity? Like when you say Buda Baker and you say Tyrann Mathieu, that sounds almost kind of like what July said when he said, "Man, they had to do a tie and throw a cheap in there with Tariq." Is that what's happening? Do you think it is really just a popularity contest?
That's what I think it is. Because I mean, like you have like other websites that has their all pro team, like PFF. They have Jair as the first team, but then Jalen Ramsey is second team. Like like stuff like that is kind of like, come on, bro.
I'm gonna tell you what boosted, in my opinion. In my opinion, I think what boosted Jalen Ramsey in the eyes of probably some of the voters was the fact that everybody looked at DK Metcalf as taking that next step, and they looked at him as one of the top tier receivers in the league, locked him up. People look at DeAndre Hopkins as one of the best wide receivers in the league, locked him up. I think that those games alone were kind of catapulted him, because you got to remember he played Hopkins twice a year and DK twice a year, and I think that weighed heavily in the decision making to put him in on the first team. Well, I agree with you though. I think Jair has been first or second. You know what I mean? Like either one or two when you talk about the top corners in the league right now. Well, I ain't gonna say with this year specifically because Xavier Howard been doing it for a long time too, man. So I'm glad to see that he's getting the recognition that he deserves. You know what I mean? But
agree.
I agree with you, man. I just think those 4 games in particular is what kind of catapulted Jalen Ramsey in the eyes of some of the voters, man. Because you talk about DK clamped and Hopkins clamped, like he did it. You know what I'm saying?
So even say Cup. Cooper Cup and Woods clamped too.
True.
So,
so could you say that's kind of like just basically signature games? You know, everyone says like you need to have a signature game to hype up your name. So Ramsey had those. I think we should shout out Justin Jefferson.
Second team, baby.
Just because
first rookie since Randy Moss.
Him and Calvin Ridley.
Numbers, like I was looking at the numbers, and he had a better season than both DK and Tyreek. And I know that's controversial, but when you look at the actual yardage, let me pull it back up. I just switched the page like an idiot.
300 or something like that.
When you look at the yardage, he had 1,400 yards, right? Even. Average 15.9 yards a carry. It looks like the most out of the top 10. The person who got past him is Moore, yeah. But as far as touchdowns, 7 touchdowns. Everybody else had like 8, 9. The only amazing touchdowns was Tariq Hill and, of course, Devontae Adams, a touchdown monster at 18. But Justin Jefferson had a better season than DK. DK had 87 receptions. Justin Jefferson had 88 with more yards. And then Tariq Hill had 87 receptions. 87 receptions. Again, Justin Jefferson, more receptions, more yards. So it's like, wow, this dude is a rookie. You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of people from Louisiana in the group just want to shout out Justin Jefferson. Y'all probably real happy that he's representing y'all like that because, again, who breaks Randy Moss's record? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? So that's great.
Nobody, dog.
Well, look, check this out. We're going to move to the second team right quick. The biggest problem that I personally have with the second team, and I know Caleb, you probably agree with me on this one, is the fact that they didn't pick a tight end.
Man.
And if they were to pick a tight end, I think my boy from Green Bay, Robert Tonyan, he should have been.
No.
I think Robert Tonyan, third tight end, 763 yards with 13 touchdowns. I think that's one of the all-pro 17. You talking about a tight end that has 13 touchdowns. He's not Travis Kelce, not George Kittle. I mean, he's not a known name, but you got to reward him. 13 touchdowns is 13 touchdowns. 763 yards for a tight end, that's good.
Well.
And take Cole Beasley out of it. Take Cole Beasley out of wide receiver, put Robert Tonyan in as a tight end. If you want to keep the playing field even.
And where's Darren Waller at? His first team?
No, Darren Waller should have been.
Darren Waller is not on there.
What?
He is not on there.
Hold on a second. I'm looking at the yardage and Darren Waller.
Oh man. Go ahead, Reed. Because I got a lot to say.
I think Darren Waller is man. What's going on, man?
Go ahead, Reed. I got a lot to say, Cuddy.
Good.
He dipped on.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead, Will.
Come on, bro. I think Tonyan got snubbed for the Pro Bowl. Don't get me wrong. It is no way if you saying the second team needs a tight end and you're going Tonyan over Waller.
Right.
It's no way. You know what I'm saying? As a Green Bay fan, no way. You know what I'm saying? Like the man, like, come on, bro. The man fresh off 107 catches. What he got? Right at 1,200 yards.
Yeah.
9 touchdowns. Playing with Derek Carr. You know, he's the number one option. Tonyan ain't the number one. He ain't the number 2 option in Green Bay.
So him being the number 2 option, him being not the number 2 option, and still getting 13 touchdowns. That's a game. I think as the number 1 option, you're supposed to have better stats if you're the number 1 option.
Game plan for bro. Come on, man. You know better. Man, come on, man. The man got 1,200 yards. This man got 700 yards, man. And the difference is the touchdowns. I give you that. You got 9 to what you said. Tonyan got 13.
Yeah.
Like, man, if they gonna pick a tight end, man, it's Waller, man. Come on, man. I know Tonyan, you guy, man. But
drafting the team. If you're a GM of a franchise, you drafting the team. Do you draft Darren Waller?
That's not the question. Because Mahomes not on the first. Aaron Rodgers gonna win MVP, but you gonna pick Mahomes over Rodgers, so that's not the question.
That's a cogent point. But now, could you say Tonyan? Is it fair to say this dude is just a gadget guy? He's just the end zone guy. He's not going to change life in Green Bay.
What you mean? I mean, he part. I mean, I hear like I heard Anisha say this. People say we don't have weapons. That's not true. People downgrade our weapons because we have Aaron Rodgers. Like we always had weapons. And Tanyan is a reliable weapon. I mean, he's like a real tight end. He's a good blocker, an excellent blocker. I don't know. Darren Waller, he definitely not on Tanyan level as when it comes to blocking. And that's last time I checked, that's a big part of being a tight end.
Man, show me how many blocking tight ends made the Hall of Fame.
This is not about the Hall of Fame. This is not about who the better player. It's about who deserves to be in the All-Pro position at tight end.
So you really believe the numbers that Tanyan put up better than the numbers that Darren Waller put up? You honestly believe it? 107 catches,
like this. Let's say
1,200 yards, and
like this.
You said it with the cornerback position. Sometimes things don't show up on the stat sheet. Like as far as being a tight end, our running game is good because we have good blocking, and he's a part of that blocking scheme. I know he's a good tight end, and I just think that he reminds me of Jimmy Graham. I think he's supposed to be a receiver.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's kind of the same argument people with Kittle over Kelsey. They say Kittle's a better blocker, this and that. That's why he's so much better than Kelsey. But when we look at the stats and the numbers, Kelsey destroying the stats because he's basically a wide receiver, like you're talking about with Waller. So that's the argument is how much do you value impact with blocking, run blocking?
If you want to compare Kittle and Kelsey, I mean, you got to compare Mahomes to what's his name in San Francisco, Jimmy G. I mean, like Will just said, he try to say, oh boy, got Derek Carr, but Tanyan, he got Aaron Rodgers. But we do the same thing with Kittle and Kelsey then. I mean,
no, but what the point that I'm making, their stats are nowhere close. Whenever you look at Kittle from last year and Kelsey from last year, when you start splitting those hairs, then you get into the point where, man, look, Kittle might be the better blocker, and that's why some people lean on Kittle for that, because the numbers were similar last year. Man, when you look at Darren Waller numbers versus Tanyan numbers, and I'm not saying Tanyan a scrub. Tanyan not all pro. Like, man, not all pro. Man, ain't nobody scared of Tanyan, man. Ain't nobody going into the game like, man, look, we got to stop Tanyan. Man, look, we want Tanyan to be the one to beat us. You know what I'm saying? If anything, Tanyan is not producing the same way if he's the number one option and teams are game planning for him. I don't care how great of a blocker, you know what I'm saying? Because he really ain't a great blocker. He a good blocker. He ain't no George Kittle type blocker. He a good blocker. Like, he a solid tight end. That man not all pro, man. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he's not all pro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I watch this. I will say they are crisp as fuck, though. I'm like, how is this dude always open? Like, he's always open in the red zone. Always open. Because I'm like, Tanya about to score right here. And then it happens. And I'm like, wow, this dude is almost automatic. So either him and Rodgers must have put in extra work as far as continuity or chemistry or something like that. But, you know, run blocking aside, I will say his red zone efficiency and route running is crisp as fuck. Like,
yeah, he's not a scrub, man. I hate saying I hate going against the man because I like Tanyan, man. I think Tanyan straight. But when I'm looking at the tight end position from production, man, you can't debate 102 catches, 1,200 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Like that's what I'm getting at. Like that, those numbers, man, you can't. It's nothing you can tell me.
Numbers. That's why receiver numbers.
You know what I mean? Like, if their numbers were a little closer together, then I would allow you to use that debate that, well, look, he a better blocker. You know what I'm saying? But his blocking ability don't overshadow the production that he has versus the overwhelming production that this man Waller had, though. That's my opinion, though. But I feel, but you're not about to tell me a tight end who putting up 700 yards deserves a second-team All-Pro nod over somebody that just put up 102 catches. for 1,200 yards.
This what I do. To me, I value touchdowns more than yards. That's just me. I value touchdowns more than yards.
Really?
And as a tight end, I don't know how y'all do it. I know you're a big Drew Brees fan, Will, so I know you value yards more than touchdowns. But
don't try to throw a jab in there because I think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Drew Brees. But what I'm saying is the touchdown discrepancy in between the two. The difference is 4 touchdowns. What's the yardage difference?
Yeah, I think I might have got to go with Will with this one. I think I might got to go with Will because when you say I value touchdowns more than yards, right? That's got to be a proportional argument. Like it's proportionally. So if you got 1,200 goddamn yards, which Waller has, you know what I'm saying, and then slightly less touchdowns, 4 less touchdowns, that's crazy, man. 1,200 yards, like I can't.
Let me get back to my Jimmy Graham point. I see you made a face when I made that point. This was my Jimmy Graham point, Caleb. Now on the All-Pro team, you have a bunch of receivers. Like this is the most receivers they ever had on the All-Pro team. This is the most receivers they ever had.
Yeah.
And I think your boy from Oakland, he played more of a wide receiver position.
Right.
And that's why I said he reminded me more of a Jimmy Graham, because Jimmy Graham, come on, let's be real. He was never a tight end.
Okay, so we're gonna use that. We're gonna use the argument for Kelsey too then?
Hold on, let me finish.
Same, just like that.
Let me finish. Kelsey good at both playing wide receiver and tight end. Kelsey could be good. So let's just get that out the way. Let's just get that. I think he more of a. The reason I put him on the All-Pro second team as a tight end, because I think he's just more of a true tight end. What a tight end's supposed to do, and tight ends they don't usually not tight ends. We in the era where tight ends having a lot of catches and a lot of yards. I understand we're in that era, but my thing is, what I'm saying is, 763 yards is good for a tight end. Oh boy, he got almost 1,200 yards. That's great. That's great. I just think Ty actually played the role of tight end better than what he did. Now, is Waller?
That's factual because I actually watched LeBron's channel, The Uninterrupted. He does like documentaries and stuff on athletes, and they did one on Darren Waller. And Darren Waller, you know, everybody knows he had like a drug history, drug use and problems, and teams didn't trust in him. He kept blowing his situation. He started as a wide receiver. That's what was crazy. Like he was a wide receiver. So the fact that Gruden found him and like the way they used him and everything, and he came into this tight end position, he's basically just a big ass wide receiver. Like that's really what he is. And so you have a point when you say this dude doesn't play tight end. He plays wide receiver in the tight end position. But technically these hybrid players are what people are looking for nowadays, it seems like. You know,
should I look at Gibson from Washington as a receiver, since he started as a receiver and then running back as a so I'm just saying, like we getting too caught up in the intricacies of stuff that don't really matter. Like man, a tight end, and look at his number versus this man number. I can't go and say, well, Lamar Jackson won MVP last year, but he had 1,200 yards rushing, so he should be competing with running backs. Man, that don't make sense.
Right.
Like, man, a tight end. Regardless of how they use it, they're going to put him in the best position to be successful at the position that he's listed in. You know what I'm saying? Like, that man,
hey, you remember Jimmy Brown was asking for wide receiver money, huh? Jimmy Brown was asking for wide receiver money, huh?
And he got traded, too.
Hey, but that's enough of my take. Who y'all think? I'm going to start with you, Caleb. Who you think was the biggest snub?
The biggest snub is Jair. Jair is my biggest snub. I don't have another step.
You already explained it.
But it, you know, like to go back to Will. I mean, like those highlighted games and all that stuff.
Let's go.
There you go.
But yeah, man. Not to take away from Ramsey, man, but I mean, like Jair did a whole lot more than Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey did not deserve to be first team. I mean, hell. They got somebody else that had a much better season than Jalen Ramsey. The guy out there in New York plays for the Giants.
Bradbury,
James
right?
Bradbury.
Bradbury
That
pretty
dude
good.
was balling out, man. Seriously.
So what is the reason for no tight end on the second All Pro team? Like what
There's
is
only one real tight end in the game. Y'all know who he is.
James coming firing? He coming firing high.
Hey, I just
No,
got
because we were arguing. So I'm gonna catch you up, James. We were arguing Tanyan versus Waller, right? Because Tanyan has 13 touchdowns
right.
and like I think roughly like 800 yards, something like that. Waller has 1,200 yards and 100 receptions. This is like a wide receiver number: 1,200 yards, 100 receptions.
right on.
And he has 9 touchdowns, which is only 4 less than Tanyan.
Right.
Do you value blocking, run blocking, and all the things that Tanyan can do as a traditional tight end when we know that Waller was originally a wide receiver and he kind of plays like a wide receiver at the tight end position? Do you value blocking and touchdowns that much more than all those receptions and all those yards?
Well, again, it all goes back to what you're asked on your team. That's what we sometimes forget. Sometimes you're not asked to be that blocking tight end. You know what I'm saying? They don't ask Travis Kelce to do a whole lot of blocking. They want him to seal the edge on jet sweeps and stuff like that. But in your offense, if you're the go-to guy and everybody knows you're the go-to guy, and that's what you're here to do, catch passes and run routes, that's more valuable to your team. Okay. You know what I'm saying? When they were game planning, as much as Thunyon did his thing, nobody was worried about like we have to stop this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Preaching.
You sound like Will.
When you played the Oakland Raiders, you know who they was throwing the ball to. You know who was the number one target. You know what I'm saying? Henry Ruggs was there to take the top off, but you knew who you had to stop in the passing game. And that was Waller. I'm very impressed with that guy, man. Like I say, the transition he made from wide receiver to tight end. Hold on, I got what?
That's gonna be my answer. Like James set me up for my answer for you, July. He said, "Who's the biggest snub?" That's my snub, man. It's be Waller, man.
All right, Will, who you got, Will? Who you got as your biggest snub? Then we're gonna move on to this next topic.
Man, my biggest snub is Darren Waller, man. We talking about all the way around. It's Darren Waller.
Yes, man, she did. I'm sorry, fellas.
You good? Take your time, bro.
Hey, James, I'm gonna start off with you on this next topic, coaching ball. You ready?
I'm listening, baby.
All right. What player in the playoffs is under the most pressure to win?
What player is under the most pressure to win?
Yes.
Man, bro, this one is a tough one, but I'm gonna have to go with Drew Brees. Like, we just had a conversation about who was the best offensive mind in football, and Sean Payton was probably the most underrated offensive guy. He gets Michael Thomas back, all-pro wide receiver. His offensive line is actually starting to be healthy now. You have an all-pro back in Alvin Kamara, and nobody likes to talk about it. The defense is nasty this year. Defense is pretty legit. So, man, and from what all the reports is, he's 85 to 90% healthy. So, man, you got to put this on Drew Brees' back right now before he could play the defense because they didn't have it. Now, I mean, shit, it's on you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady, he has a built-in issue. This is my first year in the new system. Aaron Rodgers, he has a little pressure, but he's the MVP. You know what I'm saying? If Drew Brees has no MVPs, which I think he's been snubbed a couple of times.
No
MVPs. He has one.
No.
Hey,
Tell me what year.
Hold on. I'm gonna get to that.
Hey, we're gonna say this debate for another podcast. Hey, we're gonna say this debate for another podcast.
Right.
I'm just gonna say anytime somebody break the touchdown and yardage mark in the same season, no matter if they only win 9 games, they need to get more consideration. But that's neither here nor there. But I think it's Patrick Mahomes ain't under no pressure. Josh Allen ain't under no pressure. I'd have to say it's probably Drew Brees.
Hey, I 100% agree with you. That was gonna be my answer too, because all I hear every on TV, New Orleans Saints has the best roster, which is true. New Orleans Saints does have the best roster from top to bottom.
Right.
And if Drew Brees, if New Orleans go into this playoff game against Chicago and they lose, it's gonna fall on Drew Brees. And I like what Ryan Clark said about Lamar Jackson, because at first I was thinking Lamar Jackson, but then I heard Ryan Clark this morning. He said, Josh Allen don't have that pressure like Lamar Jackson. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. So why are we putting that pressure on Lamar Jackson? That's 100%. So I'm gonna side with you with your Drew Brees statement. What you got, reason?
Mine is Lamar Jackson, bro. It's Lamar Jackson because there's a lot of different reasons why. It's a culmination of a lot of things. First of all, Josh Allen and whoever else, they haven't won those MVP, first of all. Second of all, the Titans have already beaten the Ravens twice. So if you lose again, that's 3 times in a row, which is difficult to do, to beat a team 3 times in a row. Drew Brees has a established legacy already, very similar to kind of like a lesser Peyton Manning, somebody who won a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He won him 1 ring, you know, and then you got staggering regular season numbers, staggering. But as far as both Manning and Brees, they both struggled a little bit typically in the playoffs. They've had down playoffs where it was highly disappointing for their prestige and their name and their popularity for how they lost, especially Peyton dealing with Brady. So Brees is the same way. Brees is that guy. We talk about MVPs. People don't feel like he should win an MVP because he's never won really that much in the playoffs. He's came up short a few times in the playoffs. So their legacies technically are somewhat stapled. If Brees were to lose in the first round, it wouldn't be big and shocking. It wouldn't be. It'll be probably a couple days worth of memes.
Business as usual.
Here's the thing. It'll be like it'll be easily to go back to like almost like Snoop Dogg with that Roy Jones and Mike Tyson fight where he's like, them ribs is on the McGrill and stuff. He's like talking about it. It's the same thing with Brees. He could go straight to the rib excuse. Because when we talk about, he's 90%, you can go straight back to the rib excuse. This man had like 20 broken ribs, something crazy like that. But Lamar Jackson, these are 2 teams, Titans and the Titans and Ravens both run the ball a lot. They don't pass a lot. When they do pass a lot, it's Mark Andrews getting it. It's Mark Andrews doing really the most. So Lamar Jackson has got to show us that he's early in a career. He's a young potential superstar, already won MVP. You don't want a stigma of this guy always loses because it will become a black cloud. It will become kind of like a monkey on his back every year if this narrative gets louder and louder and louder every year. So if you lose to the Titans, that's 3 times in a row you lost to the same team. That's not a big deal out there.
Hey, but that's why you can't blame Lamar. Not to jump in front of you, Red, but let's state facts.
Okay.
Josh Allen has an all-pro wide receiver.
Ryan
Tannehill has an all-pro running back. Who does Lamar Jackson have?
J.K. Dobbins.
It's a great running game. Like as far as the actual
running game.
He just ran for like 400 yards. Huh?
I got 3 words for. I got 2 letters and 1 word. J.K. Dobbins.
The guy that ran for 800 yards.
Picking up momentum.
He ran for 800 yards. That's 34. Hey, listen, I had a post about this the other day. That's 37 yards a game. I'm sorry, that's 42 yards a game.
But he started late though.
I ain't got nothing to do. Hey, blame God for starting late. He ran for 42 yards a game.
Lamar actually has success against the Titans, though, historically.
No, I understand what you're saying, but without a better supporting cast, you can't just put every quarterback in the playoffs right now has a go-to receiver, whether it's T.Y. Hilton, whether it's A.J. Brown, whether it's Michael Thomas. Who's the go-to receiver for the Ravens?
It's got to be Andrews. It's not a receiver.
You hear what you're saying? Andrews.
Right.
As a defensive coordinator, it's easy to take away a tight end. But when you have a special talent at wide receiver on the outside of the numbers, it's a whole lot. That's why Lamar Jackson, to me, is under the least amount of pressure. But that's for another day. I'm sorry. I just had to.
So do you think that whole narrative is wrong? Like people just looking for Lamar to...
Oh, yes. Hey, it has more to do with his complexion than his attributes. Because I guarantee you this. If you give Lamar Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins, they play the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship.
Right. Okay, so how about this though? Perception is reality.
No,
So
no.
if the media puts this narrative out, from a lot of folks, especially in our group and sports debaters, just go with ESPN headline.
Hey,
whatever ESPN tells them to think, that's what they.
We got to, the people on this on why we do the sports debaters, we got to add the context to that. We got to go besides the headlines. We actually have to get the people the analytics behind it, because perception is not reality. Perception is my dad used to say perception is the reality of idiots, because you could be perceived as a dumb person and have a master's degree. You know what I'm saying? Perception is not reality. Now, there's a difference between perception and reality. And like you say, the perception is, oh, Lamar Jackson can't get it done. Again, it's easy when a guy only has 3 tight ends that he's throwing to. The big-time running back that they gave, Mark Ingram, he's not the same that he was. And you saw about J.K. Dobbins came on late. He did come on late. Man, he rushed for 800 yards. I totally understand that. That's 42 yards a game when you break it down. Lamar Jackson was the biggest running threat. There was no defensive coordinator that played the Ravens this year said, God damn, we got to stop J.K. Dobbins. Nobody said that. They said we got to stop Lamar.
Everything you say, but I feel like J.K. needed 10 to 15, actually 15 to 20 carries a game, and he just wasn't.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like J.K. Dobbins. I really do. I think he could be a nice lead back somewhere.
Right.
You feel me? But he's not, whether it be from schematically, he's not getting the touches that he needs because they rather let Lamar, do more of his thing. But again, that should work to his advantage because nobody's keying on him. You understand what I'm saying?
I feel like that's an indictment of your offensive coordinator. You don't want Lamar leading the team in rushing. He's an amazing rushing quarterback. But him leading the team rushing, I'm looking at the OC like, what are you doing, bro?
Okay, hey, listen, you heard what you just said? That's an indictment against the offensive coordinator, right? That's why I don't blame Lamar.
Okay, that's a fair point.
All right, Killer Red. Killer Red, what player you think is under the most pressure to win these playoffs?
If I was to say Drew Brees, I'd be a Saints hater. Now, I do feel that pressure for Drew Brees because you have like the number one pretty much on paper offense. You have Michael Thomas coming back. You got Kamara back. You have Sanders there. You got Jared Cook. You got Sean Payton. You have all these different people. You even got Deontay Harris coming back. You are equipped to do what that you are supposed to have been doing. And like how that Reggie said before the season started. Oh yeah, man. Drew Brees supposed to be the MVP. And I'm like, boy, hell no. He ain't gonna be no damn no. Now, it's truthfully between Lamar and Drew for me. Reason being, if that Baltimore goes down, can Lamar pass the ball and get them back into the game? We know that answer. No. As for the Saints, if the Saints are down, can Drew Brees bring you back? Yes, he can. However, will Drew Brees do something foolish that he is known for? Will Drew Brees try to force a throw, trying to be Superman? Like, for instance, the NFC Championship game. I will always bring that game up because that was the Saints year to go to the Super Bowl and possibly beat the Patriots. What did the Saints do?
Got cheated.
Man. Caleb, hold on, Caleb. I know what you're about to bring up. First down. They threw the ball to Mike Thompson. Drew Brees threw a terrible pass. That's what you're about to bring up.
Man, look, the Rams had 2 timeouts left. Although that you wasn't really running the ball, effectively run the goddamn ball. Chew the clock. Make them waste their time out. On third down, you got the man. You got Michael Thomas. He's going to run a slant and catch the ball. Like, like y'all should have won that game, hands down. However, what did Drew Brees do? He skidded the ball, and then he was like, I'm sorry, my bad. That's on me. Second down, you run the ball. You get stopped. Third down, you do the pass. Yes, it was a flag. Okay, whatever. Boom. It really don't matter. You get
wait, hold on. You can't say it don't matter. Man, that call is called. The game is over.
Had you ran the ball, you wouldn't have had to get into that predicament.
That's not. You can't put that on Drew Brees, because let me tell you what you're about to leave out. After that play, did not Drew Brees lead the team down to get the field goal?
Right.
Yes, he did. And then, right after that, Jared Goff double back and drove down the field and kicked the field goal. Now you get into overtime.
Drew Brees play defense?
Man, the Saints had the ball first.
But no, I'm talking about, you said Jared Goff drove down the ball and got a field goal.
Right.
Yeah. Drew Brees play defense.
No, he didn't.
Hold on.
But you get into overtime, right? Y'all boys driving, right? The Rams call a stunt. And Fowler came around the corner and pretty much clocked Drew Brees. Drew Brees saw it coming. What did this dude do? He passed the ball, his arm got hit, and he threw a pick. And then from there, the rest is history. The most boring Super Bowl play to history was played. Yada, 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 whatever. Now, if that Drew Brees, he is wiser, but, those ribs is a big thing. Because, Drew Brees loves to take calculated risks and stuff like that. Drew Brees is known for that. If that he can trust his running game, because the running game is actually solid. If that he could trust his line and then run the ball, they will be fine. Now, as for Lamar Jackson, that game is simply who can run the ball better. However, Tennessee is the better play action team. Now,
better receiver.
Now, I like that matchup because, you have AJ versus Humphrey, or
Corey Davis
versus Peters versus Jimmy what's his face? Jimmy Smith. It goes either way. Now whoever can run the ball better and then stop the other team, that's who will win. But if that Baltimore gets stopped running the ball and they can't run the ball, Baltimore will lose. But I got so many buts and however's.
Hey, man, get off that fence. If ice is cold, then it's not hot.
But look though,
it's a fumble.
And you don't need Tannehill outplaying Lamar, bro. Like, if Tannehill outplays Lamar, that's gonna be embarrassing, bro.
Man, okay. I think that Tannehill can throw for maybe 340.
Yes.
I think he can. Because that they will be calling play actions out the ass. I see it coming. But the Ravens have a much better defense. That is Tennessee's Achilles heel as they keep on moving forward. But the biggest question to me is, can Lamar deliver whenever that he needs to? We know that he could run the ball. He brought the team back against the Browns. But we want to see him pass the ball whenever that they are down by 10 or 17 or something like that.
Well, who is he passing to?
He doesn't need to be down. He don't need to be down. He just need to pass the ball. This stage is set up perfectly for Lamar. The Tennessee defense is relatively weak against the pass.
Right.
So the perfect stage is set up for Lamar to just pass the ball. You don't got to be down, bro. Just hit Andrews, hit Hollywood, show us a little bit of pocket presence.
Hey,
and just have a decent game. Just have a decent game.
I honestly think that this game is not set up for Lamar, because, like you said, the Tennessee's worst part is their secondary, but the Ravens' worst part of their offense is their lack of weapons. So, what are we talking about here? Hey, Hollywood is not a number one receiver. Let's call it what he is.
Let me hear from Will. Let me hear from Will.
Oh, Will, shit, I didn't know Will was on this thing.
Yeah, Will. Bro, I just being patient, Cuddy.
What player do you think is under the most pressure to win, Will?
In my opinion, there's only one player right now that we would say if they retired right now, they would probably be top 5 in their position, and that's Aaron Rodgers. What I hear from Packer fans and those who support the Packers is that the things that's been holding Aaron Rodgers back is the defense, McCarthy, and a lack of weapons. Well, you got Aaron Jones, you got Devontae Adams, who's the best receiver in the NFL right now. You have
Robert Tonyan,
who July says an All-Pro.
You got defense.
Alan Lazard. You have MVS. So you got guys that you can get the ball to. You have a running game. You got this great offensive line. You got a lot of stuff working for you. So I don't want to hear no more excuses. Because everybody, if you poll the group, everybody would say Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback than Drew Brees. Everybody would take Aaron Rodgers over Drew Brees. Aaron Rodgers got to get it done. That's all that's to it, dog. He got to get it done. I feel what y'all saying about Drew Brees and Sean Payton. Now, if we talk about coaches, I would say Sean Payton has the most pressure to get it done as far as coaches. But if we talking about players, man, it's Aaron Rodgers, man. It's Aaron Rodgers, man. It's Aaron Rodgers. By long.
Aaron Rodgers is number 2 on my list.
I was quiet. Hey, look, Aaron Rodgers talk to everybody. There's only one other quarterback that you would compare and say has the same tools or better tools than Aaron Rodgers, and that's probably Patrick Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers is probably the most talented quarterback we've seen. You know what I mean? If you take Mahomes out of that equation, I'm talking about from arm talent, mobility, pocket awareness, whatever you want to name. Aaron Rodgers is that guy. Yeah, he got a team around him. So that's not a crutch.
I got a question for you.
I got Aaron Rodgers number 2. I actually got Aaron Rodgers number 2 because everything what Will said. He been on a Pat McAfee show saying we've been to 4 NFC championship games, all of them being on the road. This is your time to get to the NFC championship and host it in Green Bay. Right. This is your time. This will be the first time if they beat Tampa Bay, and we're gonna get into our picks later. If they beat Tampa Bay, they will be hosting the NFC championship game in Green Bay. So if you handle business, you'll have your NFC championship in Green Bay. The reason I didn't put Aaron Rodgers 1, the reason I did put Drew Brees, the reason I put Drew Brees 1 over Aaron Rodgers, because saying all that, after all those weapons Aaron Rodgers had, the Saints still have the most talented roster in the league. Okay. And what people are saying, Drew Brees might be the weakest link of that team. And last year in the playoffs, you had Taysom Hill play better than Drew Brees.
Oh,
right or wrong?
Come on.
Last year in the playoffs.
Come on.
Last year in the playoffs.
Hey, bro.
So, out of Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees, if both of them win a Super Bowl, who catapults?
Wait.
Who gains more?
Reeves, I gotta go ahead there, Reeves. Hold on. I gotta go ahead there. I'm about to compare the offensive weaponry for both teams. You got an all-pro receiver in Michael Thomas coming back. You got an all-pro receiver in Devontae Adams, who's been healthy this year. You got a dynamic running back in Aaron Jones, who Caleb Red has consistently said is better than Alvin Kamara. You got Alvin Kamara for Drew Brees. Okay, you got Alan Lazard and you got MVS as complementary pieces to Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, the same way we got Emmanuel Sanders and Callaway and these guys as complementary pieces. You got Robert Tonyan, who July said is an all-pro tight end, and then on the other side you got Jared Cook. Both offensive lines are pretty formidable. So where do you have the biggest advantage?
Defense.
Aaron Rodgers. Whoa. Aaron Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers don't play defense. I'm talking about performing on the field when you on the field. Aaron Rodgers is a more talented quarterback than Drew Brees this season. The pressure is on Aaron Rodgers.
And I said the Saints have the best roster from top to bottom. I didn't say all.
What I'm saying is,
I said from top to bottom.
my brother, if the Saints come out and average 40 points a game throughout the playoffs, and they giving up 50, they ain't got nothing to do with Drew Brees, my brother. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying performance on the field between the quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is the more talented quarterback than Drew Brees this season.
So if the defense hold, let's just say the defense holds Chicago to what, 13 points, and Drew Brees can't score 14 points. What does that say?
That's what I'm saying. He flopped. But what I'm telling you is, you keep on saying the roster. I get that the Saints got a better defense than Green Bay. But when we compare offenses, the difference is Aaron Rodgers is a more talented quarterback than Drew Brees. He has to get it done. The pressure's on Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is a more talented quarterback than Drew Brees. But Aaron Rodgers, in the playoffs, he's going to have to score more points than Drew Brees. Drew Brees not going to be under all that pressure to score 30 points. But Aaron Rodgers will. That's my point. And that's why I say
but what I'm saying is,
because Drew Brees' defense is going to give Drew Brees' defense going to hold their opponents to what, 13 to 20 points. In the playoffs from the last couple of years, when Aaron Rodgers been in the playoffs, he has to score 30 points to win. He has to score 30 points to win.
But I think
you missing my point.
Offense to offense, Wilk was trying to say, you're right about the defense. You're right about that. But offense to offense, when you just compare just offense to offense,
it's about time. It's about time.
I would say.
I said it's about time, but the thing is,
the Saints got the better defense. But what I'm saying is, bro, if both offenses are performing and the defense drop the bag, fumble the bag, you know what I mean? What I'm saying, if we go into this playoff game, we play Chicago and we put up 40 points on Chicago head, but Chicago win the game, man, I'm not saying, well, Drew Brees flop
and get it done. Right.
Hey,
what I'm saying is, when you look, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Saying in past playoffs, Aaron Rodgers' first playoff loss against Arizona, it was the score. What was the score, Killer Ray? Like 51 to 45, some shit like that. That's what I'm saying. Drew Brees ain't never lost a playoff game like that. And I'm saying that's why I say he has more pressure. He has more pressure on him this year because the Saints not gonna lose a playoff game 31 to 38. If they lose a playoff game, it's gonna be 20 to 13.
Or if they lose a playoff game, it's gonna be, what your boy ref ain't calling the pass interference. You feel what I'm saying? It's variables in every situation. It's variables in every situation. Because I didn't see Drew Brees out there trying to make that tackle on Stephon Diggs. I saw Marcus Williams. So what I'm saying is, the man could go out there and perform and do what he got to do, and it could be something outside your control. But what I'm saying is, when I'm comparing these offenses, Aaron Rodgers he no longer has the excuse that y'all like to throw out there. It was always, it's McCarthy's offense, man. It's McCarthy's offense.
But I ain't never gave Aaron Rodgers an excuse. I ain't never gave Aaron Rodgers an excuse. So me and you talk, you ain't never hear an excuse come out of my mouth for Aaron Rodgers. All I'm saying is Drew Brees is under more pressure than Aaron Rodgers right now.
What would you say about the young quarterback versus old quarterback, though? Because, I feel like we all say Brees and Rodgers are great quarterbacks. Same with Brady, right? All these old quarterbacks, they're a great quarterback. It's cemented. Like, we already said, these people are great. Young QBs, they just trying to make a name for themselves. They're trying to get some kind of buzz or something. They ain't got nothing. So you think there's really more pressure on young QBs? Because old QB could lose in the first round. Like, let's say Rodgers losing the first round. We gonna blame the defense, bro. We gonna blame. But as far as these young QBs, Lamar keep losing to the same team 3 times. Josh Allen, let's say he puts up a total flub. It does horrible. Here comes the narrative starting. Like, next year, it's gonna be like, is he gonna do it again? Is he gonna flop again? And I do think it's probably too loud for Lamar in that sense. But what do you think about a young QB needing to make a name for himself more than an old QB trying to put like an icing on top as far as like a Hall of Fame career?
Youth doesn't win in major sports like talking about it. Patrick Mahomes is the exception to the rule. He's pretty young and he wins. But let's look at the quarterback. Let's look at the quarterbacks that win. Brady's been winning. You know what I'm saying? We can go back to the Joe Montana days, Joe Theismann, all these quarterbacks that were established guys. It's very rare that you have young quarterbacks that lead their team to the promised land. That's why we get so excited when you see, oh goddamn, Lamar Jackson won a MVP at 22 years old. Right. Oh shit, Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl at his second year start. That's why we get so excited about it, because in the NFL, young quarterbacks don't have that type of success. It usually takes growing pains. You take your bumps and bruises. You have to learn NFL defense and complex coverages, and learning how to win in the NFC Championship game is something unto itself. So, you don't expect young quarterbacks to go in there and just make a name for themselves, win Super Bowls right off the bat. That's why the pressure's never really on them. They're young. They're wet behind the ears. You expect the mistakes and whatnot. That's why we look at the elder statesmen and look at them differently to come through in the clutch.
Okay.
Hey, can I say something before I go?
Yeah, go ahead, Will.
Hey, so I agree with everything James said, man, and but I think it's been a shift though in the NFL, and what I mean by that is the expectation level of these young quarterbacks are the all-time high, because coaches and front office personnel, all these guys, they trying to win before they got to pay the quarterback. Because you can surround a young, talented quarterback with talent before you have to pay that quarterback. You know what I mean? So I do think the press. I don't think from like our standpoint, we looking at the game, that our expectations are the same as the front office organizations. I think they put the pressure on those young quarterbacks because it's a short window that you can win with a young quarterback surrounding them with a whole bunch of talent. You know what I mean? Because eventually you got to pay that number one receiver. You got to pay that running back, the left tackle, right tackle. You got so many people that you got to pay. Then you're looking at the other side of the ball on defense, man. You got to pay these guys. So when you break it down, man, like these guys trying to win while these guys on their rookie contract. Because then you can have all these high dollar pieces around them. You know what I mean? And build around them. Because when you pay that quarterback, hey, dog,
Are we spoiled though? Are we spoiled? Because I mean, when you look at Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Herbert, Burrow, Tyler, Deshaun Watson, I mean, are we spoiled? Like, is this the time right now where young QBs are they overall better than what we're used to seeing from young QBs in the past?
No, because all the guys you just named, none of them in the playoffs. Look at the playoff picture. You got Phillip Rivers, you got Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. Those are the normal suspects.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Those are your normal guys. We get enamored. I'm not gonna say we get enamored with the young guys, because again, it's so often that you see a young guy ready to go. Hell, think about it. When Aaron Rodgers was drafted, he had to sit the bench for 4 years. It was always you draft a quarterback, you stash him behind the starter and let him grow and develop into the system. But now you have guys that's ready to go. So we get enamored and we get excited. But at the end of the day, you still have to learn how to play professional football. It's unlike anything you go.
That's like Tua. That's like a rookie quarterback that looks like a rookie. We talk about him like they trash now because we see Burrow and Herbert. But when you see Tua is a damn rookie.
Rookie with no preseason.
We call him trash, but really he's a rookie. Like, come on now. He needs time to be able to pick up or to get acclimated to the NFL game. So I do feel like we're a little spoiled because when we see a regular rookie have regular rookie problems, we talk about him like he's trash now. And that's kind of not fair.
All right, well, check this out. We're gonna get into this next topic.
I gotta go.
We're just gonna answer the question real quick. We're just gonna answer this question real quick because we kind of touched bases on it. We talked about the player who's under the most pressure. Let's talk about the team that's under the most pressure to win. I'm gonna let you go first with this one, Caleb.
Let James, because I think you gotta go.
Yeah, I got to split. So I'm just gonna say the team under the most pressure. I'm gonna go with the quarterback that's under the most pressure. The New Orleans Saints. Time to get it done. There's no more excuses, baby. You got the best quarterback. Like you said, we had one of the most talented rosters from top to bottom. You're playing the Bears first round, so I mean, you should have a easy go of it. I'm not a fan of the quarterback down in Chicago. I just don't think he's gonna be able to get it done. And you're going against Matt Nagy, he's gonna do something stupid for you. So you should be able to get through the first round. You get the lesser of two evils when you get to the next round between whether it's Brady or Rodgers. So I mean, again, it's time for the Saints to make that run. Hey, I appreciate y'all for having me on. I'm sorry I got to run out on y'all, but I'll catch y'all next time, fellas.
All right, bro.
Hey, man.
Caleb, who you think what team you think is under the most pressure to win?
My the Green Bay Packers. I mean, think about it, because like all before then, it was the narrative about Mike McCarthy, the defense, the offense wasn't, like they wasn't really producing all that stuff. Now you have LaFleur now, right? He's had 2 back-to-back 13-3 seasons, and now the defense is finally peaking at the right time. Yet you have the offense clicking on all cylinders. Now, like, one thing that kind of fears me, and it's something that like Rodgers always done, like especially as of late, teams that have fast linebackers that can bring pressure to you. If we have to see the Bucks, that'll be a challenge, because I mean, like, we gotta climb uphill to then see like the Saints or the Seahawks, or like whoever just may run the tables. But like Aaron Rodgers, I mean, like, management did what they did this past offseason to kind of like set the table up for like Jordan Love and everybody else moving forward. So like, honestly, the Packers play the best football on the NFC side. So like, the Packers really have to come back and possibly beat the Bucks. And then if we see the Saints again, we gotta beat them again. And then from there, we're seeing either Buffalo or Kansas City or possibly Baltimore. It just may never know.
All right, Weezy, who you got as the team under the most pressure to win?
Caleb actually has a good case, because I was gonna say the Saints, but you got me leaning more. I'm gonna stick with the Saints. Actually, I'm gonna stick with the Saints, but I think it actually is close with the Packers, because a lot of the points he brought up with the Packers can apply to the Saints as well, as far as this being expectations, right? Playing a certain brand of football. But for the Saints, I do think, because of Breeze, a lot of the points that y'all made prior, and then combining that with Sean Payton, sometimes it's disappointing to just, again, lose early in the playoffs, or lose in a way that nobody thought you was going to lose. And the Saints have done that. It's a long time to remember since the Hurricane Katrina Super Bowl. That's what I call that thing. I call that thing the Hurricane Katrina Super Bowl, because everybody is like, if we had Black Lives Matter back then, they would have been going crazy and shit. Because like, it was like, you saw people suffering in that area, and they won a Super Bowl, and it was weird. It was kind of like a celebration of, and they got some. They went through so much tragedy that they got a Super Bowl. But since then, what have they done? What has the Saints done since then? I don't remember shit.
6 times.
I don't remember shit. You know what I'm saying? So with Rodgers, the narrative has been a lot of times he needs more help. I know that's a misconception, and it might be a myth that y'all point out. He does have weapons. He does have things that's going on. But I personally did not like Mike McCarthy. I didn't. I do think LaFleur is using Aaron Jones a lot better. And I actually do agree with a lot of what Caleb said. and he almost leaned me to the Packers, but I'm gonna stick with the Saints for now, just because it's a combination of two old heads. It's a combination of old man Breeze and old man Sean Payton.
I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Steelers as a team
Okay.
most pressure to win, and not just the Super Bowl, because I don't think anybody expect the Pittsburgh to win the Super Bowl. I'm talking about this weekend against the Cleveland Browns. If you lose to the Cleveland Browns, a team that's been your bottom feeder, a team, like, did y'all see what Juju tweeted out or something like that?
Yeah, Juju fucking up already.
Yeah, if you lose to the Cleveland Browns, think about what they're gonna start asking questions about Mike Tomlin, about Big Ben Roethlisberger. Pittsburgh started off 11-0. And now they end up being the third seed, and then you go back and if you lose to the Cleveland Browns, a team that you've been beating on for what 40 years, it's gonna be big, and people gonna start questioning Big Ben and Mike Tomlin. And
that's a good point. That's a very the Steelers. You could call it a good word for it is you could say they're in a very inauspicious position, because that's like a word meaning like it's not favorable. It's not a good position to be in. You lose to the Browns, you're right. That's going to be memes for like weeks. Like, we're going to clown the hell out of the Steelers. We're going to have memes of Juju dancing with Michael Jordan crying face on his damn face. We're going to have memes. You know what I'm saying? We're going to pull up all the stupid tweets and talk about the Browns are the Browns. I think that's a quote that Juju said just recently. Oh, the Browns got a couple good players, but they just the Browns. You can't lose that game. So you're right. It's a very inauspicious situation, and I will say the Browns are in a serendipitous situation as far as if they win, nigga. Like, people gonna have to start putting respect on Baker's name. People gonna have to start putting respect on Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Whoever really shows up and has that big game. But I will say the Steelers have lost a couple questionable games this last few games down the stretch, where everybody was saying these dudes might be some frauds. So,
all right. So we're gonna start with that game. We're just gonna make our picks real quick. I'm just pick a game. Y'all make y'all picks. I'm gonna get my pick. We're gonna start off with the Steelers and Browns. Caleb, who you got winning that game?
Give me the Browns. Browns will probably win it, probably like 20. No, they'll probably win it 17-13.
I got the Browns as well. Reezy, who you got?
I'm going with the Browns too. I just like the Browns better. I like Nick Chubb.
All right, Ravens and Titans. Who you got, Reezy?
I'm going. This is hard for me, but because both teams, again, like we said, they're both running teams. And Lamar's offensive coordinator might be his worst enemy. So I'm going to go with the Titans again. It's very difficult to beat a team 3 times straight, but I'm starting to believe in Tannehill. I'm starting to believe in his actual arm ability. Corey Davis, we all know A.J. Brown had over 1,000 yards as a box, but Corey Davis had just under 1,000 yards. So they are a team that is not only Derrick Henry, and I don't buy 100% into the narrative when people say, "Oh, when Henry does bad, Tannehill does bad." No shit, bro. Like, that's how offenses work. So I believe that they got to figure out a way to stop Tannehill. But then, I'm sorry, Henry, which the defense is amazing, but I do think Tannehill gonna end up stinging them either to Corey Davis or A.J. Brown. We saw just last week that clutch ass play, a long Tannehill pass to A.J. Brown for a first down to get the game-winning field goal. I think that they're just in a certain momentum, a certain motion, and unfortunately, the media might be on Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I got Tennessee as well. I just see them as a better overall team. Lamar Jackson, he might be the best player on the field, but I just see Tennessee as the better team. Who you got, Caleb?
I'm kind of torn, because like, between those two teams, the road teams has been the winner in every single game. So like, it's like, whoever really plays the best football, they'll win. but I feel that Derrick Henry will keep the Russian train going. He may have about a good 170 or something else like that, and they'll win on the last second touchdown like they did in week 9 or something like that.
Yeah,
Whatever.
they beat them. Yep.
AJ Brown will be the one to score another late touchdown and win the game.
All right. And this next game, we got a young quarterback versus a vet. We got Phillip Rivers versus Josh Allen. I think that's going to be an interesting game. Yeah. I know Buffalo favored, but I'm going to go with the vet. I'm going to ride with the Colts to beat Buffalo. Surprise everybody. Who you got, reason?
Man, this is hard because Darius Leonard that's one of my favorite linebackers, period. And that Colts defense is the truth. And I'm kind of scared of T.Y. Hilton. It always seems like when that nigga not gonna do nothing, he puts up 100 yards. So, my biggest problem with Buffalo is no running game. That's my biggest problem with Buffalo. So, I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I'm gonna go Buffalo on the back of Josh Allen, and it doesn't make sense to me. What I'm doing is just my gut. Everything on paper, I would say Colts because they just seem more complete. Jonathan Taylor's on a goddamn tear right now. I mean, he might be good for 150 yards a game, but I'm going to go with Buffalo just off of Josh Allen throwing fucking 400 yards.
All right, Caleb, who you got?
I'm going to go with Buffalo, but it's very, very close. Now that, keep in mind, the Colts defense is very, very good. The Colts also have 2 highly rated PFF cornerbacks in Xavier Rhodes and Kenny Moore. Not that Diggs, he was kind of banged up and everything. He was questionable, but Diggs will play. But that running game fears me. But if that Buffalo's passing game is still clicking, then yeah, Buffalo got them on a very, very slim margin of victory.
If they shut down Diggs, fuck my pick, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
but that's the only thing I'm worried about is Diggs.
Hey, but check this out. Now, next game, Saints in Chicago. They actually put the Saints to play Sunday so Alvin Kamara could play. You want to talk about more pressure? I wish Wilt was still on because you want to talk about more pressure on Drew Brees. They moved the game on Sunday because all the other NFC games being played Saturday, but the Saints they playing Sunday just so Alvin Kamara could play. So I wish Wilt was still on here so I could tell him so I could add on to my argument I had.
That's a good point. If they lose, they'll be like, "Yeah, man, we moved the game and everything, and you all lost to the Bears."
At home.
Yeah, but jokes aside, I got the Saints by 15, man. The Bears ain't got a chance.
Yeah, Saints got 2 touchdowns at least.
Y'all might laugh at me.
Don't do it,
Y'all
Caleb.
might laugh at me.
Don't do it, Caleb.
But I got the Saints winning. Okay. But if that Mitch Trubisky can do the same thing that Jalen Hurts did, if he could do that, or even just a fraction of it, that Saints defense will crumble. Now, my last point is this: Drew Brees, Kamara, and Michael Thomas. They've only played what 6 quarters together this whole year, right? The time that they did play, the offense never really kicked off until the second half. If the Saints are down at halftime by around 10 points or less, they will come back and win. If it's more than that, I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough. But I got the Saints.
Chicago defense is good, but Saints gotta win that game.
All right. I know y'all boy was talking about he wanted Tom Brady. What's his name from the Redskins? Chase Young.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Chase.
yeah.
Yeah, he gonna get what he wished for. They're gonna lose by 17.
Yeah.
I got the Bucks.
There's
I got the Bucks
no
winning by
way, there's no way the Bucks lose this game.
17.
Tom Brady has not only picked up pace, but for somehow he's averaged over almost I think 309 yards a game, passing the most intended yards per throw, which is unusual for Brady. So this year, so he went to the Bucks for a reason. He went to the Bucks because of the wide receivers on that roster, and they didn't disappoint. Mike Evans is now the only wide receiver to have 7 consecutive seasons of over 1,000 yards.
I think it's 8.
Godwin is picking up. AB has picked up pace. Like AB has had 4 scores in the last 3 games. So, you know, the Chiefs' young defensive line is lit. They good. They're great. Them niggas losing. I'm going with the Bucks by 21, bro.
You got Caleb.
Well, y'all gonna laugh at me now. I'm taking Washington.
Wow, upset alert. Okay.
I'm taking Washington. Washington has like I want to say a top 5 or like a top 8 passing defense, right? Bruce Arians does not run the ball. This is the time of year to actually run the ball. Now, to say, for instance, if the Tom Brady is having a frustrating day, right? The same way how that the Saints pressured Brady, I think that football team with like Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Chase Young, Ryan Kerrigan, you know, like all the boys will be in Brady's face all day long. I mean, like Chase Young, bro, he got like 3 or 4 strip fumbles, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, man, that is a huge problem. Chase Young is fast as shit. But the dark horse on that line that may save the day is Tristan Wirfs. That matchup versus Young or Sweat. If that he could win those blocks, Tampa Bay wins. If not, Alex Smith is 5-1. I see them being 6-1. And then they will win by a field goal, 17-14.
What you're saying is not crazy. It's not crazy because a pass rush getting to a quarterback is, you know, it's a head coach's worst nightmare, right?
Right.
If Chase Young and them stuff start touching up Brady's an old man.
Right.
He's an old man. He don't need to be getting hit and tossed around like a rag doll, right? But I will say this though, as far as Brady and his time of release, that he passes the ball so goddamn fast, bro. Like he'll snap it and pass it. So that's the thing. If they can touch him, I agree with you. It's gonna be a muddy, ugly game where you be like, man, we need Rojo to start running the ball. We need Fournette to run the ball. But if Brady can get rid of the ball quickly and neutralize that young defensive line, we're talking about keeping Gronkowski has 7 touchdowns this year. So that core, those receivers could eat them boys alive as long as if they can somehow neutralize Chase Young and that strong defensive line. That's why I'll go.
Last point too. Devin White is not playing, right? Okay. You have McKissick and
Gibson.
McKissick and Gibson fielding passes from out the backfield, right? Okay. If that David cannot keep up with them, Scary Terry and Cam Sims, and also nation's favorite target, Logan Thomas, they will light it up when it matters.
Right.
They gonna light it up when it matters. So
that's a point. That's fair. The kids is going crazy, so I guess we should wrap it up.
Anyway.
Well, when I was a kid, I was beefing, boy. We was always fighting. I don't give a damn. Like, we was off the couch, nigga. I was doing wrestling moves.
Well, look, our last game, Jared Goff, I don't think he's playing, if I'm not mistaken.
He's not playing?
I don't know.
I didn't know that. And who? Let me see.
Rams and the Seahawks.
Anyway, Rams versus Seahawks.
That's right. Oh, I'm going Seahawks.
I'm going Rams. I'm going Rams winning with their defense. We talked about it earlier with Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf. We never talked about Aaron Donald, but I think Russell Wilson, he ain't gonna be able to run his way out of this one. I think the Rams winning by 10.
Did Ramsey shut down Metcalf that second game? They played twice, right?
Yeah, they played twice.
Once. Did he shut him down the second time?
Second game.
Yeah, he did.
Shut him down both times? Damn. Okay. I'm gonna still go with Seahawks just because of Russ Wilson. I think that he had a disappointing year in his eyes because it started with the whole hashtag let Russ cook. You know, he's trying to do the MVP thing, and then that campaign died quick. You know what I'm saying? That campaign.
He do the same thing every year. Every year he do the same thing. And people come back the next season. Why Russell Wilson get an MVP vote? Because he always falls off.
Exactly. So I do think playoff Russ is a different Russ. And also when he's down, he'll be like down 3 touchdowns. He'll be like, this game is over. It's like 5 minutes left. And all of a sudden, this dude is doing crazy shit, like running out, scrambling all over the place, making little passes, finding Tyler Lockett and some obscure name tight end, Will Disley or something. I mean, he just finds ways to win, right? So I do not trust Goff or whoever the fuck plays instead of Goff. I like their running backs. I like Cam Akers and Henderson. And I love their defense, of course. But I do think for some reason this is going to boil down to Russ versus the Rams defense. That's the whole game is going to boil down to that. And we're just going to be watching like a chess game where Russ is just scrambling all over the goddamn place, trying to find the right pass. And if DK gets off, if there's any kind of statistic probability, the hell is that DK was shut down twice, so maybe he's due to go off. Maybe this will be the game that he figures out a way to get 100 yards on Ramsey. I don't know.
What you think, Caleb?
I got the Rams solely because the Seahawks offense has been very, very slow and everything. Especially as of late, their offense has been very, very slow. Truthfully, had the Rams kicked those field goals in the red zone, I think that the Rams would have won the West. Because, they was down there twice and then both times, they didn't score. Jared Goff may be playing because he put in some limited practices. If he does happen, a play that does help them out somewhat. But I think that the Rams defense is a little bit too much. And Cam Akers may be set to have a big day.
Okay. Well, that's all people
Rams be too cute sometimes. Like the Rams coach be kind of cute because he's like that young genius. You know what I'm saying? Does he be too cute, not taking field goals in the red zone?
That's just like Sean Payton sometimes. They're both some smart idiots. They're too good. They're too smart for their own
good, right?
So, bro, man, sometimes you just gotta take them points.
Field goals run the ball, kick it on the ball. That's what the Falcons fucked up in their Super Bowl. So, but yeah, we can go with that, man. I'll say I'm picking the Seahawks though, so I'm gonna go against the grain, baby. Seahawks.
All right. Well, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man. We talked about some good, had some good debates, had some good topics. Thank y'all for coming on the podcast. Shout out to Reezy. Shout out to Wilk. Always have fun fussing with my dog Wilk. That's my dog.
Y'all got kind of hype. Y'all got kind of hype, boy.
James, Coach Ball, and of course, Caleb. By the time I get you on the show, man, I'm gonna have to get you on the podcast with Denzel and Chris. They say they want you. That's the word.
Bro, the boys ducking me, man. The boys the one that smoke.
McDonald's Wi-Fi, man. That's that McDonald's Wi-Fi.
Ah, man. That man, look. Man, that shit said the connection to your peer has been lost. That man is ducking. That man didn't want that smoke.
But yeah, hey, good job on the podcast. Absolutely, man. This is a good one.
Oh, yeah.